Hi everyone, it's Miss Amy from the Ridgewood Public Library. Thanks for joining me for story time today. Today we're going to read two of my very favorite bedtime books. The first one is called Good Night, Peter. It was nighttime and the silvery moon was shining over the woods. Inside a warm, cozy burrow, 4 little bunnies were tucked up in bed. Their names were Flopsy, Mopsy, Cottontail, and Peter. You see them sleeping there? Peter had slept in this room for a long time. He shared it with his 3 playful sisters. It was a bit of a squeeze. Mrs. Rabbit thought it was time for Peter to sleep in a room of his own. Peter was not sure about this because he would be all alone. There would be no Flopsy to score his handstands out of 10. There would be no Mopsy to share stories with. There would be no Cottontail to cuddle up with. Does he look worried? Yeah. One sunny morning, Mrs. Rabbit set to work making a cozy little room for Peter. "This is just the place for you, Peter," she said. "A lovely, snuggly spot, perfect for a growing bunny." As Peter watched, Mrs. Rabbit bustled about, dusting and polishing, washing and wiping, stitching and sweeping. Finally, Peter's new room was finished, and it was really very lovely. There was plenty of space for everything, even his feet, which felt nice and toasty. See him all tucked in? Peter had only just closed his eyes when he heard, "Hoo-hoo!" "What is that noise?" said Peter, sitting up in bed. The noise echoed around his big, lonely room. Peter was never going to be able to sleep now. What do you think made the noise? I see an owl outside of his window. I think that's what did it. Peter sprang out of his bed and straight back to where his sisters were. "There's no room in this bed," muttered Flopsy. "Your feet are too cold," said Mopsy, pulling the blankets tighter around her. "You can share with me," whispered Cottontail kindly, but there really wasn't enough space for Peter. In the morning, Peter was very tired indeed and very glum. He felt a little bit in-betweenish. "I'm too big for my old room," he explained to Mrs. Rabbit sadly, "and too small for my new room." "Anything new feels funny to start with," she told him, "but you'll soon feel just right." All day, Mrs. Rabbit stitched and stitched. She wouldn't tell any of the bunnies what she was making. See her working? That evening, the bunnies ate a supper of bread, milk, and blackberries beside the fire before bed. Then Mrs. Rabbit gave Peter a new snuggly toy. "This will help you feel better," she said. Later, with his sisters fast asleep, Mrs. Rabbit took Peter's hand. "Time for bed," she whispered, gently leading him to his new room. Peter's toy felt cozy, and as Mrs. Rabbit tucked him up, as she'd always done, so did his new room. Peter knew he was in the new room, but now it felt more cozy and peaceful. There was enough space to play, and Peter felt just right. He snuggled down in his bed and fell fast asleep. "Good night, Peter," whispered Mrs. Rabbit. See, all he needed was a lovey. Do any of you have a lovey at home? Yeah, my kiddos have loveys. They're the best. All right, we have one more book about bedtime. This is called Sleep Like a Tiger. Once there was a girl who didn't want to go to sleep, even though the sun had gone away. See her? She's scooting on her scooter. She told her mother, "I'm not tired." She told her father, "I'm just not sleepy." They nodded their heads and said she didn't have to go to sleep, but she had to put her pajamas on. She picked out her favorite pajamas that matched the night sky. "I'm still wide awake," she announced. Her parents said that was fine, but she should wash her face and brush her teeth. So she did. It felt good to be nice and clean. Then, because she loved climbing into her bed, she did, stretching her toes down under the crisp sheets, lying as still as an otter floating in a stream. Does everything in the world go to sleep, she asked. Yes, her parents told her. Our dog is sleeping right now, curled up in a ball on the couch where he's not supposed to be. And the cat is fast asleep, stretched out in front of the fireplace, the warmest spot in the house. What about bats, she asked. They don't sleep. Not at night, her parents agreed, but during the day, they fold their wings, tuck their heads, and sleep hanging upside down in the safest place in the barn. Do whales sleep, she asked. Yes, they swim slowly around and around in a large circle in the ocean and sleep. Tiny snails, she asked. They curl up like a cinnamon roll inside their shell. Even grizzly bears, she asked. Bears are mighty sleepers. They make a cozy den under the snow and sleep through the winter. All winter? That's too long, she said. Most animals just sleep through the night, her parents said, tucking her in. I know an animal that sleeps a lot, the little girls told them. What animal is that? Her parents asked. The tiger in the jungle. When he's not hunting, he finds some shade, closes his eyes, and sleeps. That way, he stays strong. Her parents nodded. Sleep is good for that. Then they kissed her, turned out the light, and stood in the doorway. I'm still not sleepy, she told them. We know, they agreed. You can stay awake all night long. They left her door open a crack. The little girl's bed was warm and cozy, a cocoon of sheets, a nest of blankets. Unlike the dog on the couch, she was right where she was supposed to be. She wriggled down under the covers until she found the warmest spot, like the cat in front of the fire. She folded her arms like the wings of a bat. She circled around like the whale. And curled up snail. Then she snuggled deep as a bear, the deep sleeping bear. And like the strong tiger, fell fast asleep. The end. That last book made me a little sleepy too. I think it's almost my bedtime. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I would love to see you next time. Bye.